Hey, Facebook, it is Gerry coming to you from the beautiful Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica on a gorgeous Tuesday. And I mean a beauty. It is just amazing if you could see what I see. How beautiful it is to be in Costa Rica. A little bit about Rythmia. Rythmia is a life advancement center, unlike any in the world, the greatest one in the world. Why do I say that? 97.19% of everybody who's been through the doors has reported a miracle during their stay. In addition to that, 92.71 6 months later say that this was the week that changed their life. We had another great week, another 97% week. And the week before we had Taida. Taida has become my best friend. And Taida is just amazing. To be here for a Taida week is next level. Yeah, so a little bit more about Rythmia. We're knocking on the door of 12,000 guests. 12,000 have been through Rythmia. We're probably a month and a half away from the 12,000 mark. Almost 2,000 TripAdvisor reviews, making us one of the highest rated resorts on TripAdvisor in the world of any type. Who comes? Celebrities, athletes, business people, regular people like you and me, but a lot of athletes, a lot of business people, a lot of celebrities. Why do they come here? They come here because it's amazing. Who's on our board of directors? Who's on our board? Kelly Slater, the GOAT, Martin Luther King, the son of Martin Luther King and namesake, Tony Ko from NYX Cosmetics, and Michael Bernard Beckwith from Agape. I mean, these are really people who are on our board. So it's an amazing place. It really is. This is tools number 5. So what have we talked about? We've talked about these specific things that will help us in our realizing our own becoming of a beneficial presence on the planet. That's the whole idea behind this whole thing. And we talked about these things. We talked about picking from a centered place. We talked about having a realistic time frame, but an unrealistic goal. A realistic time frame, an unrealistic goal, meaning have a 10-year time frame, but know that it's going to be greater than anything you could ever contemplate or imagine, and that will work. We talked about tithing. Tithing is making the universe your partner. We gave you specific methodology on how to tithe, which is touched upon in my book coming out August 6th called Truthonomics. We taught you positive prayer, affirming prayer, gratitude prayer, the way to pray every day, every single day. Then last week we talked about acting and not quitting. Acting and not quitting. And these are other components of this thing. Today, I want to talk to you about motivators, because all of us from time to time need motivation. All of us. There are times when you get picked on. There are times when you run out of money. There are times when people are upset with you. There are times when things you were counting on don't happen. There are times when things you weren't counting on do happen. Those are all times for motivation. What I am against, because it's a sign of something else wrong, what I am against is being a motivation junkie, which if you need that much motivation, you didn't do something right in the pre-process. So motivation should be used when you're in a dip. When you're in a dip, right? Because if you're already vibrating here, then motivating yourself more isn't the answer. Acting more is. So take that motivation time into acting time. And we're going to talk about these different things today. And what are some good motivators? What are some great motivators that are factual, true, and insightful, right? So I'm going to go back and say one other thing. Telling people your plans is another key that I covered that I didn't cover in there. And telling your people your plans is a great thing. It's a great thing because because it enlists, your vibration will enlist other people, because people love to be a part of something big. They love to be a part of something new. They love to be a part of something different. And their soul wants to become a beneficial presence, even if it's by joining your team. Yeah? So that's a key thing. Let's talk about some other things, some true motivators. Well, the one thing that I can tell you is this. The odds of that sperm meeting that egg and creating that beauty that is you is 400 trillion to 1. 400 trillion to 1. I don't even know what that number is. I have a hard time with 1 billion, which is only 1,000 million. That's 1 billion. 400 trillion to 1. Wow. Is that a motivator? Is that a motivator? Why is that a motivator? Because every moment that you can reflect upon it, you should be saying, hey, is this the best use of the lottery ticket that I won? And honestly, somebody put that into numbers for me. It's like winning the 11 number lottery 40 some days in a row. It's a statistical improbability that you are here. You already won the big race, right? So every moment that you're doing something and you can be cognizant, and this is why prayer and meditation and all that stuff work, because they make us aware of these overriding truths. Yeah, the truth is the refrigerator is broke, and the truth is that the dog's sick, and the truth is that Tommy has the measles, and the truth is that you bounced a check, and da-da-da-da. But the real truth is you won the lottery before any of this started. You were given the biggest chance in the world, the biggest, greatest chance in the world. 400 trillion to 1. So you have to look at that and you have to say, am I using this chance the best that I can? Am I using this chance the best that I can? In other words, are those other 399 trillion, 500 or 999 billion, 999 million, and 999,991, are those other options that could have happened a better outcome or a worse outcome from the planet because it picked me? Whoa, boy, wow. Now all of a sudden, it goes from expectations to obligation, which is where we want to get you. We want to get you from expecting to be taken care of, expecting to be served, expecting free shit, to actually being here in obligation. I was given this chance to improve this thing. I was given this chance. I'm obliged to do it in some way, shape, or form. Now, when we talk about this, we don't want everybody, it wouldn't work if everybody was a me. It wouldn't work if everybody was a you. It wouldn't work if everybody was a her. It wouldn't work if everybody was an Elon Musk, or if everybody was a Steve Jobs, or if everybody was a Warren Buffett, or if everybody was a Jeff Bezos. It would not work, because it takes a village. It takes all of us, right? It takes all of us. And that even means those of us who are vibrating the lowest, right? It does. It takes them. Now, when we raise that lowest vibration up a bit, every ship in the harbor raises, right? If you raise it from the top or the bottom, every ship in the harbor raises. So just remember that. And I'm not singling out low vibration people and saying they're bad. I'm not. I'm just saying that everybody is needed. All opinions are needed. All things are needed. But you specifically are here in obligation, in your 400 trillion to 1. Are you here to be the absolute best parent so that you can make your 400 trillion to 1 offspring have the greatest beneficial presence on the planet? I think yes. I think that's the whole idea. Now, how they do that is as varied as the day is long. We have people that are salespeople. They're not administrators. We have administrators who are not salespeople. I have artists who are not builders. We have builders who are not bakers. We have bakers who are not bankers. That's all the differences. But if everybody is striving to do their best because they realize that they won the lottery, they have a ticket to the race. You're here, as my friends in Australia used to say, two things. They said, any day that you're looking at the green side of the grass is a good day. I agree with that. And I got 2 feet and a heartbeat. That means that I can do whatever it is. So this kind of motivation that is true, I want you to write these things down. And when you're having a hard day, when the car won't start, when you get a flat tire, when you're late for school, when your boss inadvertently yelled at you, or any of these, your wife had a problem, your dog had a problem, whatever it is that keeps you down, then look at these things. These are things that will keep you up. But only deal in things that keep you up for the truth. And I want to talk about toxic positivity. Is there such a thing as toxic positivity? Because this is a subject right now. I think yes. I think when you're falsely positive to the detriment of others, that's bad. How can that happen? By knowing somebody bet the wrong thing and knowing the outcome and telling them it was a good bet. That's false positivity. But the truth of that would be, yeah, you're going to lose, and losing isn't going to amount to anything to you because you're going to come right back and right back. If you deal in true positives, the truth of the truth of the truth, because I want to tell you something. I saw this motivation tape from a guy in the 80s. I forget his name, but I brought it up a couple of weeks ago. And the crux of it was anything that I've done in my life was easy. Doing it was easy, right? What I mean by that is this: working my tail off, like overcoming all kinds of odds, pushing the stone up the hill, doing all that was easy. Now, it also would have been easy to not do it, because neither of them kill you, but one produces this highest result. One does. Now, if you find yourself every day depressed, moody, unmotivated, unwilling to get up, unwilling to work, it is not a motivation problem. Meaning there's no amount of material that you can read that's going to get you out of that. But there's a fundamental issue way before that that's not right. And by not right, I mean the thing that you're looking at, you probably picked from the wrong place, so that you and your soul are in some type of conflict, right? So the first thing you want to do is resolve that. I'm talking about somebody who's merged, who's picked from a merged place, who's made a decision that's having a bad day. That's when to use what I call motivators. And there are a lot of them to use, but start with ones that are truly grounded in truth. And then what I want you to do is this 400 trillion to 1 is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful motivator. It is. And then I want you, because sometimes we get waylaid and distracted because people are not doing what we want them to do. And we talked about setting the table for those people and letting them come up. Do not invest more time if they don't come up. Let them go. When I say let them go, do not cut them off. Set the table, and when they get there, and that's cool, right? So don't. A lot of times we can get all caught up in Jimmy's not doing what I want him to do. Mary's not doing what I want her to do. They're handling this wrong. They're handling that. Let them come up when they come up. What I want you to do is you to realize you're 400 trillion to 1. If it's going to be, it's up to me. If it's going to happen today, it is up to me. It's not up to you. It's not up to anybody else. And when you're looking at these things and you're looking at these other people, 400 trillion to 1, maybe the highest and best good that person can be is a troll. Maybe that's their highest purpose in life. Maybe that's their highest purpose. Don't talk about them negatively if that's what they're supposed to be doing. If they're 400 trillion to 1 was to become a troll, if they're 400 trillion to 1 was to become a naysayer, if they're 400 trillion to 1 was to be there as a poster child for what not to do, let them be it. Don't get involved. Don't be upset with them. That's who they are. That's who they are. You can get mad at somebody for being 40 years old and sitting on their mother's couch, living with their mother, but it's not going to do you any good. It's not going to do you any good. And it's not going to do them any good, right? So let's stick to us. The one thing with the medicine, the greatest thing from the medicine that I continually get is it's all about you and nothing else. So about 2 months ago, I got really afraid about the war, and I went to her and I said, tell me about this war. Tell me about this war. And I said, I'm super worried. I'm worried about the country. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. You know what she said? She said, resolve the war in yourself and it will end. Resolve the war in yourself and it will end. What does that mean? If you are mindful enough to take those things that are in conflict and make them in unison, you win. And there can't be a war outside of you. Crazy stuff, but true. So, again, today, these are all tools, right? These are motivators, motivating tools. Remember this when it gets hard, that it is always hardest before it gets easiest. And it's going to be harder before it gets better. The problem with us is that we're cruising along and things get a little hard and we're like, this is bullshit. I can't do this. This is bullshit. But the fact of it is, you can go through much more than you ever could imagine. You can endure things you'd have no idea that you can endure. You can. So just realize, and in that moment, realize it's going to get harder before it gets easier, that there's no easy way out. There's not a shortcut. This is where you're going. And all of a sudden, in those words, it gets easier. And then as this progresses, you start really enjoying the trip. And then when the tide turns and it starts to get easier, instead of resting on your laurels and saying, okay, I'm done now, this is it, because there is no finish line. There is not. You really appreciate that. And appreciation and gratitude is where the joy comes from. It's where the contentment comes from. So we want you to experience the fullness of the whole thing. And remember that you're a beneficial presence. And remember that you were given this chance. And remember that you're 400 trillion to 1. And just say, hey, is this my highest purpose? Is this what this 400 trillion to 1? Because I'm going to tell you the mistake that I've made my whole life, and I continue to make, is that I set my goals too low. I could have done so much more. So, and we have new announcements coming in about 2 weeks that are going to blow you away, actually, about what's going on. But I'm going to hold them till I can tell you them. But in my whole life, I've always set the bar too low. There's much more that I could have done. And like or dislike Elon Musk, man, he sets the bar high. He sets the bar high. Wow. Amazing. Anyway, until next week, God keep you, God love you, God hold you, and remember who you are. Remember that you are this walking miracle. You're a statistical improbability, almost impossibility. The fact that you're alive, and keep that with you all week. Cheers, and we'll talk to you next week.